I've played this clip once before, but it's just such a great clip. It goes along well with a few other things. There was a new development recently. There was a story that I read in the paper about a British agency called Ofcom and some things that they were doing. And I want to get to that. But before I do, let's do a little bit of background. Let's go ahead and watch this clip. This is Keir Starmer clashes with J.D. Vance on UK free speech, and I'll link this in the notes. And this story is about, I don't know, it's a month or two old from when Keir Starmer visited, Trump in the White House. So it's only a minute long. Let's watch it, and then after we watch it, let's talk about the new development. So let's just watch this.
In his remarks at the Munich Security Conference, Vice President Vance condemned free speech violations in the UK, particularly. Could you respond? What is your message?
I have an idea. We have the man right here. Come on. Let's go, JD. We're putting you on stage.
Great. Look, I said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies. But we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But
so we've had free speech, I'll just stop him right there, for a very, very long time in the UK. He always says that. That's in his brain as part of his talk track. And then he says, but we wouldn't reach across the pond and impact Americans. We would never do that. Here, let's just listen to that piece just really quick again. I don't want to put words in the man's mouth, and I was paraphrasing.
Free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there.
Well, and how time flies. I just looked, and it turns out that original clip was from 5 months ago. But you heard the man. Keir Starmer said he's very proud of free speech in the UK. We've had it for a very long time, and certainly we wouldn't want to impact, reach across and impact U.S. systems. No, we would never do that. Well, let's roll the clock forward to this week, and I just saw this letter. So let's just read this letter, and let's see how this aligns with the Prime Minister's statement. So this looks like it's from an attorney. So Byrne and Storm, PC, attorneys at law, reply. So it looks like it's an email. Statement regarding Ofcom's reported provisional notice, 4chan Community Support LLC. So Ofcom, just a little background, is a regulator based in the UK that is allowed basically to censor sites in the UK. Anything that a bureaucrat at Ofcom sees that he or she doesn't like, he can just order it taken down. And if you don't take it down, you get fined. And yeah, I'm sure you can go and fight it in the courts. But it's a big tool for censorship in the UK. And their powers have just been expanded recently with the Online Safety Act, which they keep saying the Online Safety Act is for kids, but it actually impacts everyone. The government is actually using it as a tool to suppress speech they don't like. So let's read this. According to press reports, the UK Office of Communications, Ofcom, has issued a provisional notice under the Online Safety Act alleging a contravention by 4chan and indicating an intention to impose a penalty of £20,000 plus daily penalties thereafter. 4chan is a United States company incorporated in Delaware with no establishment, assets, or operations in the United Kingdom. Any attempt to impose or enforce a penalty against 4chan will be resisted in U.S. federal court. So it appears that Ofcom has made this threat against 4chan. 4chan is a company that's 100% in America, and they've called their solicitors and asked them to send a notice back to Ofcom warning them that they will not comply, basically. And this is actually Looney Tunes, because we just heard the prime minister say he wouldn't go after U.S. systems. This is a U.S. system. And then they go on. American businesses do not surrender their First Amendment rights because a foreign bureaucrat sends them an email. Under settled principles of U.S. law, American courts will not enforce foreign penal fines or censorship codes. Yeah, see, this is crazy. Whoever that bureaucrat is, they've just started an international incident. They've just sent an email across to America telling a U.S. company that they're going to start fining them unless they start doing something differently. And how are they going to collect those fines? British courts can yell about this all they want, but you would need an American court to enforce the fine. And I can tell you right now, the First Amendment's pretty strong in America, and we just watched J.D. Vance sort of scold, in a nice way, the Prime Minister Starmer for his censorship efforts. And Starmer said, oh, no, we don't do that. Well, now here we have it. So the U.S. is not going to go along with this. What are they going to do? Send an email over to Vance and Trump and say, hey, can you go collect this fine for me? It's not going to happen. And so this is going to turn into a big international incident because people in the UK, you have given up your freedom of speech rights. It's 100%. Some Karen sitting in an office at Ofcom can just, start fining sites for things they don't like if they don't take it down. This is 100% suppression of speech by the government and ideas that the government doesn't like. If necessary, we will seek appropriate relief in U.S. federal court to confirm these principles. United States federal authorities have been briefed on this matter. The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, was reportedly warned by the White House to cease targeting Americans in the UK censorship codes, according to reporting in The Telegraph on July 30th. Despite these firms. A political solution to this matter is urgently required, and that solution must come from the highest levels of American government. We call on the Trump administration to invoke all diplomatic and legal levers available to the United States to protect American companies from extraterritorial censorship and mandates. Our client reserves all rights. This is exactly what J.D. Vance just said, and you can go back and watch it again. I'm not going to. But he warned them, don't do this. And boom, here we go. And it's these out of control Karens running the bureaucracy and the police and all these other places in the UK that are causing these problems. And it's a problem. Don't get me wrong. I do not think Trump will see this in a good light. And Starmer better hope that Vance doesn't become president in 3.5 years. Things are only going to get worse there because Vance seems to have a bee on his bonnet on this censorship thing. So that's what I think. This is just the UK trying to expand the censorship state and the surveillance state to the detriment of the people. This is not for kids. Now, 4chan, you can argue pros and cons of 4chan all you like. It's famously a site where everyone is fairly anonymous on it, and you can say whatever you like without restriction, pretty much. The owners of 4chan allow pretty much the ultimate amount of free speech. And there's really nothing the UK can do about it from a fining standpoint. The UK could block 4chan so that 4chan was not available in the UK, but we know what will happen then. People that want to use 4chan will just get VPNs. Unless you ban VPNs, and there are legal reasons for VPNs, there's lots of them, then I think that's also a fool's errand. So people in the UK, don't give up your rights. Get out there, fight for your rights in the courts, fight for your rights on the political battlefield. Vote in ministers that will put a stop to this kind of nonsense. Take your country back. Thanks. Hey, if you like this, please like and subscribe. If you don't like it, don't watch me. Let me know if I got anything wrong in the comments. Bye.